What's up guys, Carmine here. I'm actually going to do a review video on the new Lionel Legacy Reading Northern 425. I actually haven't seen any review videos of this thing yet, so I'm going to do my best to cover everything. I'm sure I'm going to get some things wrong, so don't freak out. I'm going to do my absolute best here. So this is Lionel item 6-85172. These just came out. They came out in a few different road names. Reading Northern was one of them. They had it in a Halloween scheme, a Northern Pacific scheme, a Crescent Limited scheme, but actually an all-black Crescent Limited scheme. And they had a B&O President Washington scheme in that really nice olive green scheme that Baltimore and Ohio had. The locomotive is equipped with one big flywheel motor. It has full legacy rail sounds. It also has the Bluetooth option inside of it. It has two fan-driven smoke units. This also has the whistle steam smoke effect. Go any further, I know some of you guys are hardcore MTH guys, or some of you guys are hardcore Lionel guys. Now me, I happen to be the happy medium. I like them both. I think they both put out good products. I have a lot of MTH trains. I have a lot of Lionel trains. Now I have seen MTH's variants of this and Lionel's, obviously, because I own Lionel's. They are both great in my opinion. Yeah, I know the big thing is MTH might have the more accurate paint scheme, or it might have a more accurate whistle, or this or that. In my opinion, get what you want. They both have their pros and cons. I know a lot of people's argument with this when I put it on some of the Facebook groups that, oh, the blue's too light and blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you really think about it, to me, this blue is more of the blue that was on it when it was in the older scheme, the lighter blue. But to be completely honest, I kind of like it. The MTH's is very dark, but the real locomotives is very dark. This, to me, I think is the best of both worlds, because you get the newer paint job mixed with the older paint job, mixed with the newer numbering and lettering and stuff like that. And me personally, I like it. So the best thing I can tell you guys is just get what you want. Don't worry about it. I have no issues with this locomotive. It runs really good. It sounds really good. And you guys will see all that coming up next. All right, guys, a few details on the locomotive. Up front, we have a dummy O-gauge coupler with a operating coupler cut bar. This coupler can be swapped out for a O-gauge coupler if you choose. You have a LED headlight up front with lighted number boards on the side and a boiler front that swings open like that, and it is attached to snap back with a magnet. You have a nice crisp 425 number plate on the front. Nice little swinging brass bell up here. Operating LED marker lights. A functioning fan-driven smoke unit. Now, as we go further back, you're going to notice the sand dome here with the nice 425 on the top. Now, I know a lot of you guys, if you are big 425 fans, you are going to say that sand dome is not correct. But you know what? Lionel did good with what they had. I realize it can't be 100% perfect, because if I had to take a guess, they're using some of the same tooling from the Alton Limited locomotive. Behind that, you have the steam dome. You have some nice brass pop-off valves. You have the brass whistle, and right behind it is the hole for the whistle steam smoke effect. You have a dynamo and some really nice separately applied piping, and all the way down the boiler, you have separately applied metal handrails and some other scale piping. The drive gear looks really good. It's not highly polished. It's kind of like that dull polished metal that Lionel has been using. I am kind of a fan of that over the really highly polished stuff, but that's just my opinion. You have the air pumps on the side of the locomotive right here. A little bit farther back, you can see the continuation of the boiler and some more piping as well as steps. You have red windows on the front of the cab, on the side of the cab. Continuing further back, you have some more of that separately applied piping that actually goes down through to the firebox. You have the die-cast metal rear trailing truck, some more separately applied detail underneath the cab. You have the red windows that actually have the cab window, quote-unquote, glass inside of it with a crew figure. On the top of the cab, you have sliding roof vents. They open and close like that, nice and easy. On the engineer's side of the locomotive, you're going to see here some more separately applied piping and detail. Your crew figure, your nice painted windows with the window glass, and you can get a little bit better view maybe of the sliding cab vents. You can slide it back. You have really nice separately applied piping all the way to the front of the locomotive. Once again, the really nice drive gear and the separately applied builder's plate. Now, here's the inside of the cab. As you can tell, you have a really, really nice detailed back head. It's not the most detailed thing in the world, but you know what? It looks good. You have some hand-painted valves and gauges up on the top. You have your two crew figures. Your really, really nice little cab windows here. They accent the blue very, very nice. There's the continuation of that white striping along the bottom of the locomotive. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but inside the cab here, there are those little gauges. Now, what I thought was absolutely awesome about this was the gauges are actually clear. So when the locomotive is on and it's running, the gauges actually illuminate from the back. So just a cool little thing Lionel did. I was a big fan of it. Just wanted to point that out. Here's just a quick video of those wonderful lighted gauges in the cab. I also forgot to mention that this locomotive does have an operating firebox. So when the locomotive is on and moving, you will see a flickering from the firebox as well as the ash pan. Here's a look at the tender. We have very nice molded and rivet detail all along the side of the tender. We have a nice, clean and crisp Reading and Northern name, as long as the Reading, Blue Mountain and Northern, the Road of Anthracite logo along the sides. We have die-cast metal truck frames, and on the back we have a opening hatch that actually has your legacy volume control, as well as two operating marker lights on the rear of the tender. But I'll show you those in a closer view when I flip it over. We also have a separately applied coal load on the top, which is kind of a hallmark on all the more high-end locomotives nowadays. If I roll this forward a little bit, I'm going to do my best to get it all in view for you guys. I don't know how well you can see that. But you have separately applied metal grab irons on either side here. You have the other end of your infrared Lionel wireless drawbar, and you have some nice cast-in detail along the front. Here's the other side of the tender. On the back you can see the nice 425 number. You have a separately applied ladder, a separately applied coupler cut bar that moves up and down. You have your functioning electro coupler on the rear of the tender, and those are those really, really nice little marker lights, as well as the logo and the name. Now, I know Lionel does not have the backup light on their locomotive. It's not a huge deal to me. I don't intend to really pull a lot of cars in reverse with this thing, but if you guys are hoping for a backup light, unfortunately, Lionel doesn't have it. That is something MTH does have. But to each his own, everybody's gonna get what they like. Alrighty guys, now I'm gonna start it up and give you a little tidbit of the sounds and everything that it does. Just if you guys don't know, some of the newer Lionel Legacy locomotives come with the orange chip or plug or whatever you want to call it that goes in the top of the Legacy remote to program the locomotive into there and to make it much easier. This locomotive, for some reason, did not come with that. I don't know why, but it's just a little bit more effort on your part to put it in there. Nothing too big, but I just wanted to cover that. So let's start this thing up.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy? I read you. Over. Okay, start her up. Stand by for track orders. Okay, let's get to work. Out.
Now, the smoke generators on the Lionels, they take a little bit more time to heat up, I noticed, than the MTHs. The MTHs just start blowing smoke like nuts right off the bat. But I'm just going to go through a few of the functions and show you what's going on here. So first up, let's try the bell. Very nice, simple, clean bell. Next up, let's try the whistle. Now, this does have the whistle steam smoke effect like I told you guys earlier. And you load the smoke. I know in the directions it's going to say to pour the smoke directly behind the hole in the whistle because they give you this little funnel to assist with that. But after playing around with it, I noticed that the steam dome here, you actually lift that off and it's held on with a magnet. And you're going to pour the smoke fluid directly down the large hole in here. You may want to give it a couple little blows in there to help dissipate any of the air bubbles, and that makes your life a heck of a lot easier than trying to squeeze it down the little hole. And if you lose the funnel, which most likely I'll lose it eventually, you can still get away with the dropper. So next up is the whistle, and like I said, it is the quillable whistle, so I will go through a bunch of the different whistle settings. So here we go. All right, now after that, let's try some of the crew talk sequences. Now, the crew talk, the Lionel stuff is a little bit more simplified. It's not as elegant as the MTH stuff, where you'll have different passenger arrival and departure announcements or freight noises and stuff like that. But you know what? The Reading and Northern, this locomotive, the 425, this is the only kind of crew talk I could at least see it having. It's not like they're going to be making big announcements like it's the Blue Comet or the 20th Century Limited or the Broadway Limited or any of that stuff. So once again, if you guys are not a huge fan of them, you do not have to use them, but they are an option. So,
Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over. Roger, your track is clear. Dispatcher, over. Dispatcher, you're cleared outbound. Over. Very good. I got the green light. Out.
the next sound I'm going to do is the water being poured into the tender from a water tower. Now, the longer you hold the button, the longer the sequence will play.
My water's full. Over. Roger that. Out.
The next sequence I'm going to play is the steam blowdown effect. Once again, the longer you hold the button, the longer the sound will go for. Alright guys, we're going to get ready to move it on out here, so I'm going to start off by activating sequence control, and then we're going to take it for a spin around the layout here, and I'll give you guys some videos of some run-bys. So, enjoy it.
Dispatcher, we're on the move. Over. Affirmative. Keep it rolling. Out. We're at slow speed. Out. See you next trip, dispatcher. Out.